That was a nice guy. Thank you, mate. Aww. Thank you, dude. Stupid Peugeot. Big scary ass wheels there. These fucking tipper trucks, man, I absolutely hate them. I really do. They're like fucking scary, man. They drive like assholes. I think they're quite powerful as well for like size of vehicle. Oh, this is a stupid idea coming this way. Wetness. Little wave at the cyclist there. I was nice to him, he was nice to me. I don't understand cyclist bashing. I mean, I know there are some cyclists out there who actually cycle like idiots. It's not very good of you, is it, Mr. Red Light Cycle Jumper? I know that much, but like, I've seen it, you know, I see it, I live in London, I see it daily, but the point is it's not as bad as everyone makes out. It really isn't. I used to cycle, I don't anymore so much, and the only reason why is that I prefer motorbiking. It's much more fun. It's much better for me personally. Where I live, I mean, where I used to cycle was all incredibly hilly, and because I was going to kids' houses teaching them, you know, I always felt like I was turning up really sweaty and gross. Wasn't that professional or that cool. Plus it's a bit more rock and roll and a bit more awesome to be a music teacher who turns up to teach kids on a bright blue sports bike. Well, it's not really a sports bike, but you know. Anywho, I don't understand cyclist bashing, I just don't get it. When I used to cycle, what I was always most amazed with was how motorists would behave the minute it started raining. So there's me, right, in December, because I just do all weathers. There's me in December, wearing all my cycle gear, icy cold rain beating down on me. Every single bit, it was dark, and the lights on my bike were good, but they weren't that good. I didn't actually have the money at the time to afford those really expensive £90 ones. I figured, you know, I can see, so long as people can see me, that's alright, but I think no matter how much light I would have had would have made much difference to how shiny the road was anyway. Yeah, it's a wet road. horribly soaking metal bits, the metal drains here and there. Gross, you know, absolutely horrible. And you know, quite a few times I nearly had a serious accident because of the metal drains. Not me cycling over them on purpose, me having to cycle over them because motorists were basically driving like their hairs on fire. I think, look, you can always have a go at cyclists, but any time you're in a car, just think of this. If it's summer and you've been in the car for a while and you're lucky enough to have air conditioning, you're in a nice cool space. It's cool, it's nice, you're not hot. You can sit and chill out, you've got your radio, you've got your tunes, you know? It's great. If you smoke, you can smoke, shouldn't really, you know, but you're chilled out, you're being entertained all the while, plus you might have passengers to talk to, you know? If you're on a bicycle and it's hot, you're hot. Right, you're sweating, you're boiling, and, you know, you're getting exercise at least, but still, you know. If it's winter, right, really wintry and really horrible and wintry, right, it's freezing and cold and all of that, right, you're in your car, I know pretty much that all cars, even my rubbishy car, has got heating, so you're warm, you know, you're being kept warm, you've got the radio to listen to again. If you've got passengers, you can talk to them. You know, it's not a bad place to be. But for some reason, I don't know what happens to people when they get into their little metal cage, they go mental and start being evil, basically. Yeah, so I don't understand cyclist bashing. You know, I've had friends of mine, people who I know, who are nice people, who turn around and say they think all cyclists should die. I think that's quite wrong, really. But, you know, I can't ever remember a time where, you know, are there any horror films out which a cyclist goes rogue and kills everybody? No, I don't think so. There's some films about motorbikers do that. There's one called Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. That's quite funny. By Troma. Oh, I'm going to be late. I've got 4 minutes to get to Enfield. Can I do it on my beast? I've got petrol. Can I do it? I'm personally quite nice to cyclists, you know, I'm going down the roads. Even if they're behaving like a dick, I still think to myself, do you know what? If they come off, you know, if they come off because of their own fault, fine. If they come off because of me, well, that's a whole different thing. It's no. If someone's riding unpredictably or cycling unpredictably like an idiot, that doesn't mean you can overtake them in your car with like a few inches left over. It doesn't mean you can ride your motorbike really close to them. What it means is you should actually stay as far back from them as possible until you can safely overtake them. If they're willing to put themselves in danger, put it this way, I don't want my no claims bonus, you know, that I worked hard for all these years to go. I don't want that. I want to keep it for as long as possible. They can kill themselves all they want by riding or cycling stupid, but I don't want them to come into contact or collision with me. You know, same with me on my motorbike, you know. Yeah, if I want to right now, I can overtake all these cars, probably lane split right down the middle, and still slow down in time for the speed camera at the bottom, you know, but it's not worth it. I'm just promoting I'm just promoting a bad rap for motorcyclists, especially ones who ride bikes like this, you know. Whereas I want to kind of have like a nice good rap for motorcyclists, sort of say that people who you know, ride bikes well, and they'll see me and go, oh, okay, that's a guy riding his bike well, maybe I'll change my mind, you know. Don't know. But, you know, end of the day, if you have a car, it does not matter, alright, what everyone else is doing. But if you are licensed to have a car, then you basically promised to obey the law. That's basically what it is. You have promised that you were going to agree to all these terms and conditions. Yeah, if you that's what happens. Same with being on a motorcycle. If you have a motorcycle license, you have agreed to obey the law on a motorcycle. You know, it's as simple as that. And whatever's in the highway code, that's basically annoyingly what you have to do. I don't like all of it. I really don't. I think it's stupid. Some parts of it. Not that many parts, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm trying to think of anything in the highway code I think is. There's one thing in the highway code. It doesn't apply to motorcyclists. It doesn't apply to car drivers, but it actually applies to cyclists, funny enough, and I disagree with it because I've been in that situation and I found it really dangerous. I've nearly been knocked off nearly every time I've had to do it. I think it's stupid, and there's actually been a few people in London who have died because of it, because they're actually following the highway code, and that is, on a big roundabout, cyclists have to stay on the outside lane, but whilst indicating their intent. So say if you want to take the 4th or 5th or 6th or however many exits there are on the roundabout, crap, I'm late. You've got to keep going, right, mate? You've got to keep going on the outside. So all these people who are car drivers who are in the correct lane, who are going to be wanting to indicate off, and motorcyclists who are in the right lane are going to be consistently jumping in front of you. It's not good. I've tried it as a cyclist. I've tried going on the outside every time I nearly got killed. When I've done it going on the inside, driving like a motorcycle or a car would, I've found that I've actually had less near misses, you know. It's difficult. It's very difficult. You know. But that's an example of something I don't agree with the highway code, but most of it I think is pretty good. It seems to make a heck of a lot of sense. You know, it's been thought through relatively sensibly. You know, and it's amazing how many people don't bother to adhere to it. I did. I think on the UK theory test, I think it should be stricter. Hazard perception is bollocks, right? But the theory questions part is thanks, mate. That was stupid of me. The theory questions part is something that is easy to get 100% in. Okay, granted, in my car test, I did not get 100%. Got 98%. On my motorbike test, I got 100%. I think everyone should get 100% in it. I think you have to know the rules. I know the car test over here is pretty hard, the practical, but the theory is so easy, you know. I think if you can't be bothered to get 100% on it, you shouldn't be allowed to even get into a car in the first place. Oh, shite. I need to come across here, dudes. Cheers, mate. Very nice. I'm late. Hate being late. Hate being late. Yeah. So basically, to conclude with what I'm saying, if you're in a car, you're surrounded by tons and tons and tons of things to make you safe, but only you and your family. The person who is going to make pedestrians, cyclists, everything else safe is you. Is you, the driver. That's it. So drive for other people, you know. Drive for the child who might come running out into the road suddenly, you know. Drive for the cyclist who is on an incredibly rough surface on a road bike that hasn't got any suspension, with a crosswind that keeps on seemingly blowing the cyclist into you. Don't think to yourself, oh, that cyclist can't cycle. Think, is it windy? You know? Thank you. You know, think to yourself these things. Think, if I was on that bicycle, could I actually do any better? And actually try it first before actually deciding that you can. You know, because it isn't. Trust me, I've been there. I've been on a motorbike. I've been on the bicycle, sorry, with in the winter when it's been a horrible crosswind. You go past the junction, you know, a bag on your back, for example, like I have now, your rucksack acts like a sail and just blows you in front of cars, you know. And if someone's tailgating you or not giving you enough room to overtake, mate, you're just squished. You're dead. You know. I once nearly got run over by an Arctic lorry. Because I was trying to avoid a pothole on a country road that was going uphill, and the lorry didn't give me hardly any room, if any room. And that was bad.